chest day. Best day of the week, right? So this video is exactly what it sounds like. We're gonna talk about developing your chest. My name is Chase, this is Mabel, I'm a personal trainer, she's a freeloading mutt. I just wanna preface this video with, I'm not gonna make it very science-based, I'm more gonna just make it what worked for me, what works for my clients, and what works for other people that I know from training in the gym. And so I'm gonna use the handy dandy, super scientific whiteboard to recap my experience, as well as the experience of my clients and friends. Pecs 101. Now, at the top of the whiteboard today is a quote that just says, you should make a whole video covering how you built your chest. And this is a quote that was dropped in the comments of last week's video, and I just decided to preface the board with it today because it inspired this video, obviously. So if you want your quote to be featured on the next whiteboard, just stick around till the end of the video, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then drop a comment below featuring this week's secret emoji, and you could be the next Mace Yoshi Man. And I really like that name. It's like a combination of Mace Windu and Yoshi, right? Just like a Star Wars Nintendo crossover. So I'm gonna dive into these 8 tips and tricks here, but make sure you stick around for the end because this last tip I'm gonna draw in real time because I think it is the most important tip, and I don't even want you to see what it is ahead of time. So stick around for this tip, stick around for the secret emoji, and in the meantime, let's get into it. So the first thing that you should be doing consistently is the #1 chest building exercise, the bench press. And you can see we've got 2 variations detailed here. We have flat bench press and incline bench press, and we got barbells and dumbbells. So you wanna make sure that you're regularly doing both variations, flat and incline, and you're regularly mixing it up with barbells and dumbbells. This is gonna be your main modality for increasing your chest size. And ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid of lifting heavy weights in the gym doing exercises like bench presses. I know a lot of people out there are afraid of getting too strong and looking big and bulky, and women are out there afraid of, losing their boobs overnight, but let me promise you, that's not how this works. Women that lose their boobs in exchange for pecs are generally on anabolic steroids, and they are dedicating way more time to training in the gym than you ever will, and it didn't happen overnight. They didn't wake up one day and their boobs were replaced with pecs. No, they trained for years and years and years, and this was a slow transition. You will be able to catch it years before it takes off. So no matter who you are, no matter what gender you are, don't be afraid of training your chest with the bench press. This is for guys, this is for girls, whether you got pecs or tits or chesticles, I don't care. And yeah, I know, I'm talking about boobs and pecs a lot, but this is exactly why you're watching the video. So just know that loads of correlational studies have been done with max power output on the bench press and chest size. So if you want to increase how toned your chest looks, you want to be doing the bench press. Just make sure you're doing flat and incline. Incline's gonna hit your upper chest area a little more, but you generally want to avoid the decline. Decline bench press hits that lower chest, which a lot of people are already hitting enough. A lot of times you don't wanna add volume down here, you wanna add volume up here, and that's especially true for you ladies out there. You're gonna get that lift, you're gonna get that perkiness.
She's gotten her boobies. Oh. And they are so perky.
About 30 degrees on the incline. I kind of screwed it up in this drawing here, but 30 degrees is about all you need. So aside from the flat and incline bench press with barbell and dumbbells, another thing you want to be doing is an exercise like the chest fly. And variations of the chest fly are going to be anything where your arms start out at your sides and then end in front of you. So you're doing this adduction movement. You are adding your hands to your body. Adduction. And at the top here, you want to squeeze your pecs and really feel them. Now, you can do chest fly movements with dumbbells, but I actually prefer to do them with cables, resistance bands, or even a machine, because with dumbbells, you lose a lot of tension at the top of the rep when you're squeezing your pecs together when it really matters most. And if you use bands, if you use cables, you're gonna keep that tension at the top of the rep. So definitely get a variation of the chest fly going. And if you're out there stuck training at home like a lot of people right now, you at least wanna be doing some variation of push-ups to train your chest. Now, a big problem that a lot of people have, they can just do tons and tons and tons and tons of reps of push-ups. Like they get up into the 50 rep range and it just gets exhausting. So your chest might end up not getting as toned as it just gets able to handle tons and tons of reps of push-ups. What you should do is actually go to chasebarron.com and check out the many variations of push-ups that I have listed on my website. Find a variation that challenges you. I want you to think less reps, but more intense. So if you're really advanced, I encourage you to try fulcrum push-ups. If you're moderately advanced, you might want to start with something like dive bombers or diamond push-ups. And And if you're relatively new to this, you can even regress the exercise, do something like wall push-ups or knee push-ups. And push-ups are also a great way to finish your chest workout. And when growing your chest is the goal, it really does come down to prioritizing the bench press and these complementary movements, but you also want to prioritize training complementary muscle groups. So when increasing your bench press is the name of the game, you do want to prioritize your chest, but then there are all these little complementary muscle groups, these helper muscles that you want to train as well. Mostly you want to make sure you get some adequate volume for your triceps, you know, throw in some skull crushers, throw in some tricep extensions. You also want to be hitting your shoulders with moves like the overhead press and the lateral shoulder raise. You also want to make sure you're hitting your core a lot, because a well-developed core that can brace hard is going to be stronger with those explosive, powerful lifts. So here I'm going to recommend you actually go watch my video about six-packs so that you know how to train your core appropriately. But two specific exercises to note here are going to be the standard crunch and the plank. I think planks are a great opportunity to train your core as well as your arms. And lastly, you want to be hitting the other big compound movements like the deadlift and the squat, because they're going to train that explosive power that translates into the bench press. Getting better at one of them generally helps you get better at all of them. And while you're doing these lifts, there's a couple cues to keep in mind. So when you do your bench press, when you do your flies, when you do your incline press, you want to make sure that your shoulders are pinned back. This way you're going to get more recruitment from your chest. Really common tendency is that when you push the bar forward, your shoulder comes forward, but you want to refrain from letting that happen. You want to rely on squeezing your chest, but not pushing your shoulder forward. And here we go, I'm going to harp on the core again, because if you can brace your core, you can get more explosive power and therefore increase your performance while stabilizing your spine and making your lifts generally a little bit safer. And then a funny little cue that comes in handy at the top of most chest exercises is to make them dance. Now, I had an online client of mine actually write that in his log, and it kind of stuck with me ever since, because when you're at the top of that chest fly, squeezing here, you want to make them dance. You know, actually flex your pecs.
What is that?
That is the pec pop of love.
So yeah, I'm talking about a lot of different exercises that you should be doing, but how should you be doing them? First of all, you need to make sure that you're applying the principles of progressive overload and slowly getting better at these exercises over time. And the only way to make sure that you're doing that is going to be to track your exercises. So make sure you are tracking your workouts. When we're talking about these main moves that mostly address the chest, a lot of people are gonna have success with 10 to 20 hard sets per week. Definitely start on the low end. So start with just 10 sets per week. Look at how many workouts you're doing and then divide up those heavy chest sets among them. You want to start with less volume and then also use that as a variable so you can increase how many hard sets per week you do over time. That's definitely another way to make progress. You can increase weight, you can increase sets, you can increase reps. But an easy way to increase how many sets you do is to increase how many workouts you do. A lot of research has come out that the best way to grow a body part is to work it 2 to 3 times per week. I'd recommend starting on the low end with 2 and then having 3 as an option if you want to progress. And then when you're doing your specific chest exercises, you want to stick in either the low or the high rep range for an extended period of time. So for example, say you're doing bench press. Start by working in that 2 to 6 rep range. Pick a weight and do it for 2 reps. And then next week do it for 3 reps. And then do it for 4. And then 5. And then 6. And then once you can do 6 reps with that weight, increase the weight and drop it back down to 2 and work your way up again. And you can keep doing this and progressing like this for a long time, but eventually you might plateau. And when you do plateau, switch it up to high reps. So in the low rep range, we're gonna train max strength. In the high rep range, we're gonna train endurance. Work with the low reps until the low reps don't work for you. Then you can switch to high reps. Then you can work with the high reps until the high reps don't work for you. Then you can switch back to low reps. And this process takes a long time. I'm talking weeks and weeks and weeks. You're gonna have to be super consistent. Your workouts are gonna get boring, but I'm telling you, push through it, keep making progress, and be inspired by the concept of progressive overload. Don't be inspired by some fancy new Instagram workout that's totally unique, consisting of chest exercises that you've never seen before. I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. You just gotta be doing your bench press and make sure that you're progressing it week by week. Add these complementary exercises, apply the same philosophies, and along the way, strengthen your complementary muscle groups. Once again, low rep range, 2 to 6 reps, high rep range, 10 to 15 reps. A lot of people also get stuck in that 7 to 10 rep range where you're kinda in the middle between max strength and endurance. So I'd recommend leaning towards either side, either max power or endurance, and then alternating between the two. two. That way you're not in this weird middle ground. And now let's stop talking about training and talk briefly about nutrition, because let's face it, if you have aesthetic goals, they are not going to come together without getting a grip on your nutrition. And just like I said for your training, consistency is gonna be the name of the game here. Now, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know that I've done a ton of different diets throughout my life. I've done everything from vegan to keto, everything from paleo to intermittent fasting to if it fits your macros. I've done it all. And the best approach that I've had for consistency with my diet is to have a flexible approach. So there's really just a couple things that I keep in mind. I try to keep my calories in an appropriate range for me. And if you don't know what an appropriate calorie range is for you, I have a video on that. I'll bloop it up here, make sure you watch that. So I just make sure I'm eating within the calorie range that achieves my current goals. And then I have some loose macronutrient guidelines. No matter what your goal is, gaining or losing weight, a good protein target is gonna be 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. This is gonna help you build muscle when you're gaining weight. This is gonna help you retain muscle when you're losing weight. And then when it comes to fat, you wanna make sure that you're hitting at least your daily fat minimum. Generally recommend your body weight in pounds divided by 3. Now, this might be a little off for people that are very overweight or very underweight. So definitely check with your doctor or whoever before you take this blanket statement as gospel. And then the rest of the diet is generally carbs. So however many calories you have left over after your protein and your fat, just fill it up with carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. There is such a diversity of carbs out there. It's gonna help you get your daily fruit and vegetables in. It's gonna help you get your micronutrients in. And carbohydrates are the primary fuel source for your heavy lifting workouts. If you wanna grow your chest, you need to be lifting those heavy weights. You might get an extra boost in performance if you can have some simple carbohydrates pre and post workout. And I'm not gonna get super scientific and place a specific gram amount of carbs you should be having pre and post workout, but just know that if you can sandwich some carbs, you know, like an hour or two before your workout and then again an hour or two after your workout, you're generally going to perform better in the gym and recover better after the gym. But overall, if you're just eating a balanced diet and having like 4 meals spread out throughout the day, you don't really have to worry too much about that pre and post workout stuff. But if you really want to worry about it, let me know and I'll cook up a video on that as well. And we're getting down to the final 2 here. When you want a body part to really shine, 2 things are essential. You have to build that body part up by gaining muscle, by gaining weight, and then you have to reveal that body part by cutting down, by losing some weight. Now, this doesn't have to be severe. I'm not talking about gaining and losing 25 pounds. I'm just talking about gaining and losing 5 pounds and slowly increasing your body weight over time because you're gaining more and more muscle mass. And based on what your current scale weight is, based on what your current body fat percentage is, you'll know whether or not you want to start by losing some weight or start by gaining some weight. But understand that the only way to really change your body composition is going to be to let your weight change a little bit along the way. Divide your life up into phases. And there is a lot of value and merit to gaintaining, just staying the same weight and slowly increasing over time. But for me personally, my experience, you don't have to do this. Me personally, this is what I like. Gaining a bit of muscle, dropping a bit of fat. Gaining a bit of muscle, dropping a bit of fat. Once again, if that seems way too stressful, don't do it, because at the end of the day, the most important tip is this. Ready for me to draw it in live action? Here we go. And the last and final tip is have fun. Make sure that along this journey to building your chest, you have fun with it. Like, I think the reason that I've had a lot of success building my own chest is because I think bench press is hands down the most fun exercise. I love doing it. I get so hyped about it. But if you hate bench press, if you hate doing chest exercises, maybe developing your chest just isn't for you, because this is so much more about the journey than the destination. So maybe there's a chest exercise that I didn't list that you just love. Do that exercise. The number one thing on your fitness journey is going to be consistency. It matters so much more than motivation. But an easy way to build that motivation to get consistent is to have freaking fun. Don't make it suck. Don't let it suck. This has been a pretty simple breakdown of how to train your chest because, guys, keep it simple. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This fitness stuff is simple, but it is not easy. And that is all I have for you today. So once again, thank you to Mace Yoshi Man for this video suggestion. And if you made it to the end of this video and you have an idea for next week's video, or you have a quote that you'd like on the whiteboard, just drop the secret emoji in the comments below, which is St. Patty's Day is coming up, so let's just make it a shamrock. Just make sure first you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Leave me that comment with the shamrock emoji and you could be the next Mace Yoshi Man. Write something inspirational, suggest something good, write something funny. I don't care, I like laughing. It's not all about the science. So I've been going kind of back and forth with videos about training and nutrition, kind of sciencey, and then videos about mindset. So what do you like better, like the mindset videos or the specifics videos? Let me know that in the comments below as well. Mabel, come here. And this has been another video. All of this knowledge without action is just a party trick. So until next time, get out there, take some action, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers.